All right, I just want to give an update on my thoughts on the Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder situation. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of mandatories, a lot of title eliminators and stuff. Uh, and I really think it's really simple. I don't think it. I'm not gonna keep doing videos on this fight, because it's like at some point you're just gonna keep repeating yourself. You know, I want the fight to happen now. If they can make the fight happen now, make the fight happen now. I want that to happen. But I am also realistic about it. First of all, I do not think that they need to have this fight here in the U.S. The boxing fans here they're just not into boxing like that. And in order for them to have the fight here, they need to build a fight here. Wilder's been fighting at Brooklyn and everything, and that's cool. But when it comes to Vegas, both of those guys need to fight in Vegas. I feel like they need to. You know, Brooklyn fight here in Brooklyn, and even if you fought at the Garden, it's cool. But they would have to have several fights here if they're really gonna go that route. Just have it in the UK. You know, their fans are gonna pay the money. They're gonna go out there. They're gonna do whatever they have to do to get to that fight. Just go out there and have the fight at this point. It doesn't need to be in Vegas. It doesn't really need to. They're not gonna make as much money in Vegas. You know, yeah, they can charge more for the tickets and everything like that. But have that fight out there in Wembley. You're going to have 90,000 people sitting there. Just have it out there. Up the prices there. People are still going to pay to see it. I mean, I'm assuming so. If they could fill up the seats with Joshua and Klitschko, man, they could easily do that fight out there. So let's not waste more time by trying to make the fight happen here. You know? So that's my first point. My second point is uh, mandatories. And I see Povetkin is up there. He's up there in the WBA. And I think he's up there in something else too. One of the other titles that Joshua's holding. Joshua's holding like 3 titles now. So I think Povetkin's up there on 2 of them. Right? I think is Pulev still up there? Damn, I should have checked before I made this video. But yo, if he's gonna have to fight Povetkin, in order to not get stripped, then you gotta do what you gotta do. At the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. You know. But and I was listening to 78 the other day, and he was talking about this, and I agree with him. He said something I agree with his point about sign the fight with Wilder. At least sign it. Do what they did with Andre Ward. Andre Ward went over to HBL and he signed all right, we're gonna get these 2 fights, and then we're gonna secure the deal with Kovalev. Kovalev fight this person, Ward's gonna fight this person. These guys gonna fight people leading up to that fight, and that's the fight we're gonna have in a year. All right. So I agree with that. I mean, that fight should be secured. The Wilder fight should be secured. I mean, people are gonna get on here and say whatever they want about Joshua's being afraid and all that. The guy called him out in his fight. What else you want him to do? All this speculation on whether he's scared and listen, if the guy's saying out his mouth that he wants to fight Wilder and secure that last belt, what else do you need the man to say? At this point, now Eddie Hearn is a different guy. Eddie Hearn is his promoter, so Eddie Hearn that's what they do. Eddie Hearn ain't the fighter. Eddie Hearn is the promoter. So he's going to push Joshua towards the best direction to secure the bag, to secure the most money out of him, to make the most money out of him. I don't really care what Eddie Hearn has to say. Eddie Hearn is a good-ass promoter, though. You can't front. He's a good-ass promoter. He goes out and the camera's immediately on him. People want to hear what he has to say, whether you love him or hate him. He's a great promoter. He's the best promoter today, without a doubt. But all that other stuff, all that other nonsense with that, I don't really care about that stuff. Joshua seems to want to fight him too. Um, and But if he has to fight Povetkin, he has to do what he has to do. You know, you got to hold those belts. So, you know, secure those, you know, keep those belts. Fight your mandatories. Povetkin is a dangerous fight. That's a very dangerous fight, especially to get into before you get into Wilder. I mean, if he fights Povetkin next and were to fight Wilder after that, yo, do you understand that this guy only has 20 professional fights and he's fought all of these people? You know, for him to fight Dillian Whyte, Klitschko, Takam, Parker, Povetkin, and then possibly Wilder, that's crazy for a guy that only has 20 professional fights. That's pretty damn good. You know, that's pretty impressive. 20 fights or 21 fights or whatever he has. It's pretty good, you know. Um, Especially a guy that's still working on some things, you know. Still working, he's still trying to improve. Uh, but sign the Wilder fight. You do a deal where they can have that fight and they have like that. You know what I would want? I would love for, if the fight doesn't happen next, just have Joshua fight Povetkin on the main card, and on the undercard, do Dillian Whyte and I say Anthony. I was about to say Anthony Wilder, Deontay Wilder on the undercard. That would be dope. That would be the dopest card ever. Like in recent heavyweight years, that would be the best heavyweight under. Like the main fight is those two, Povetkin, and then have Wilder fight Dillian Whyte. Come on, man. You can't do no. You can't. And the winners of those fight each other. What? That'll be crazy, you know. And this is my thing too. And I don't know why people are not bringing this up. Dillian Whyte is the #1 spot at the WBC anyway. So even if Wilder don't want to fight him now, if Joshua don't fight you next, you might as well fight Dillian Whyte anyway, because at some point they're gonna make Dillian Whyte your mandatory regardless. They're gonna force you into fighting him anyway. You know? You might as well get the money that these guys are gonna pay you to fight Dillian Whyte. It doesn't matter whether you want to see who you want Wilder to see fight outside of Joshua. You know? Because I know Brazil is up there for the title too. I know Brazil won his fight. But you might as well fight. You fought Ortiz. That was the best fight you could make at that time, in my opinion. You fought him. If you can't get the Joshua fight right now, get that Dillian Whyte fight, because he's right there at the #1 spot anyway. They're going to make you fight him anyway. You know? They need to work something out with that. I think that would be the best way to do it. And you know what? I think Joshua can beat Povetkin. I think Joshua and his jab, I think he can control Povetkin from the outside and catch him with that uppercut if he tries to get in. He gets in low. I think he can time him and get Povetkin out of here. And I think Wilder's going to beat Dillian Whyte. And Dillian Whyte is cool. You know, I think he's a good fighter. I think he has a good chin too. But he's an easy target. He's easy pickings for Wilder. He's not as difficult as Luis Ortiz was. I know he's younger. He's fresher. I know the volume is going to be higher with Dillian. Like, Dillian is too easy for Wilder to hit. And Dillian is not going to be taking too many right hands from Wilder. You know, as good as of a chin that he has, I think he's going to get caught. I think both of those guys will win those fights. That's why I'm not even worried about it if they were to fight those two guys. You know, I'm not even worried about it. I think both of those guys will win those fights. I just think that would be the great way. Like, I don't know. See, I don't know what's going on in the negotiations, because you got Hearn saying one thing and you got Wilder saying another thing, because no one's really speaking up for Wilder. Wilder's speaking up for himself. You know, Al Heyman is the one that's running things in the background, and you do have this dude from New York here, the promoter here. I can't think of his name right now. He speaks a little on Wilder's behalf, but He's not like how Eddie Hearn is. You know, I think yeah, man, I think that would be the best way to do it. If they don't fight next, if I mean they're gonna fight right now, then fight right now. But if they're not gonna fight right now, it should be Povetkin. It should be Povetkin and Joshua, and it should be Wilder and Dillian Whyte on the same card out in the UK. Build that fight there. Wilder he'll get his biggest payday just fighting Dillian Whyte, and then the hype of them being on the same card. Have them face off if they both win. It'll be dope if they were to do it. Do it like how Canelo and Triple G did. Have them both face off after that, or how Klitschko had the fight secured. Like, listen, if they could work out Mayweather and Pacquiao, they can work this fight out. This fight is nowhere near as hard as to make. They can work this fight out. They can either do it now or do it later this year. Have this card on the summer where Povetkin and Joshua have the fight, and then for the winner or whatever the fall, let's get that real fight. They can work this shit out. This is not the hardest fight to make. The only thing I'm worried about is those mandatories. I know Brazil wants a shot. I'm looking at Brazil and Dillian Whyte kind of on the same level. I like Whyte better, but if he were to fight Brazil, that's not a bad fight neither. But yeah, man, that's what they need to do, man. If they made Pacquiao Mayweather, they could definitely make this fight. Just throw a dope card on there. I don't know why they just don't do stuff like that. I don't know why. I think that's the way they need. But I think Wilder do. I'm telling you, if Wilder is not fighting Joshua this fight, definitely needs to fight Dillian Whyte, man, because it's not even about you wanting to face him or not. It's the fact that he's in the number one spot for your belt. They're gonna force you to fight him anyway. You're gonna have to fight him at some point. So let's work everything out where everybody could be happy, sign this fight, and let's get it on, man. And that's it. I really don't think it's anything more. I really don't think it's that difficult to make. And I think they're both. I'm confident that both of them would win their fights. Both dangerous, especially fighting Povetkin. Povetkin is dangerous. The guy has power. Joshua doesn't have the greatest chin, but Povetkin is 38 years old. I think he's definitely gonna be forced to fight in a clean fight. I think Joshua could beat this guy. I really do. Knocking out David Price. David Price sucks. But Povetkin didn't look all that impressive against Christian Hammer. I saw that fight. Didn't look all that impressive. I think Joshua could beat him. I think he could beat him. So that's my thoughts on it, man. I'm not gonna go into like the face off and who's this and who said this and the way they said it. I ain't doing all that, man. Especially if they get the fight. If they secure the fight now, then it's like, what was all that talk for? What was the point of all that? Let's see what happens, all right? And then we'll talk, all right?